What's the best way to de-eyedropper a fountain pen and get rid of all that silicone grease? All right, good question. So I'm going to take a pen like the Noodler's Ahab, for example, because this is one that is easily convertible to an eyedropper. And then you may want to convert it back, or unconvert it, or revert it, whatever you want to call it. I just realized my nib is not set in here properly. Give me a second, because that's going to bug me. There we go. Okay. Ahab nib has to be set in there a certain way, otherwise it looks kind of funky. That's better. Okay, so as you are unscrewing this thing, you know, it's got this, it's not actually a converter. Everybody calls it a converter, but it's not. It's, you know, it's the piston filler. So if you unscrew the piston mechanism, this is something kind of unique to the Ahab, but it's representative. If on another cartridge converter pen that's eyedropper convertible, this would be your converter or your cartridge. So you can pull this thing out of here, you can leave the tube, or you can take it out, whatever you want to do on this particular pen. And then you put silicone grease on these threads, and then you have the ability to fill this entire body with ink. And the silicone grease acts as a barrier to keep the ink from going where it's not supposed to go, outside of the pen. So if you get to the point where you're like, yeah, I don't want this big eyedropper, it's burping too much, or there's no way I'm going to use 6 milliliters of ink and before I want to change colors, so I don't really want an eyedropper anymore, that's fine. You can clean it out. Q-tips are a very handy thing to have for when you need to kind of like scrub out the inside of your barrel of your pen, because some inks, you know, get kind of clingy on there, and that can happen. But then you're left with silicone grease all over the threads, right? There's not really a good chemical that I know that will easily wipe away that silicone grease, and that's kind of like the point. Is silicone grease is physical. It's you know, it's silica, so it's you know, it's made to be a lubricant, and it's made to not wear off easily, despite whatever chemicals it might come in contact with. It's inert, so it's not going to react with just about anything, and that makes it rather difficult to clean. So I find the best way to clean it up is with physically cleaning it up. So something like a toothbrush, I'm not as crazy about a toothbrush, but I find a Q-tip actually to be one of the best things to use. So I usually just take a paper towel or something like that, and I will just take and wipe away as much of it as I can. There's still going to be plenty of it kind of caught in the threads, and then I'll take a Q-tip and kind of like wipe it away. And then you have to use like different parts of the Q-tip. If you use the same part, you're just going to be spreading the silicone grease to a different part of the pen. It's not going to help anything. But you can kind of wipe it up, and you can get in there pretty good because the cotton fibers on the swab are going to really kind of get in there. You're still going to be left with like a little fine coating, but that's actually okay, because all it's going to do is act as a slight lubricant. So as you know, put your pen back together and unscrew it, it's just going to help it to operate more smoothly. A very fine coating of silicone grease is actually not a bad idea to put on the threads of just about all your pens, even your caps and stuff like that. It's just going to help the pen to operate a little bit better. So I wouldn't worry about trying to remove every last little bit of it. You kind of drive yourself crazy, and then it's honestly it's kind of undoing something that's actually helping the pen. So that's actually the best way I've found to do it. I haven't found anything more elaborate that I've ever required to do on any pens that I've eyedropper converted. Not to say that you couldn't run into a situation where you decide you want to be more elaborate with it, but that tends to work for me. So give that a shot.